And just into the newsroom this afternoon, 2 people are now charged with manslaughter after a baby was found unresponsive in a hotel room in Meade County. 25-year-old Chance Baldwin and 23-year-old Feliciana Montez admitted to drinking the night before and had taken the child to bed with them. They told police when they woke up, they found the 2-month-old unresponsive. They are facing other charges also related to the endangerment of another child that was also in that room. Both are in jail on a $100,000 bond and are scheduled for a court appearance September 25th.
Here in Louisville, police are investigating after a body was found in the Beargrass Creek. According to LMPD, the river unit was called to the creek near Story and Letterly Avenues around noon today. With help of Louisville Fire, officers found and recovered the body from the creek near the MSD Beargrass pumping station. At this time, police are unsure of the person's gender, age, or race, but they believe the person was an adult. Anyone with information is asked to call the anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. And new here at 5, a Kentucky lawmaker wants more frequent checks on the safety of your roads. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Conrad DeLuche in for Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. The proposal would put the responsibility on the state transportation cabinet. Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton have the details from Nelson County.
We're just off Loretto Road here in Bardstown, one of many state roads where we're seeing these issues. Take a look from the sky, some of that worn down yellow paint. And it becomes even more evident if you take a look down the road going in the other direction. That was recently paved just 3 months ago. And when it's nighttime, that difference, that drop in visibility can become extremely dangerous.
If we can't see the roads ourselves, we have to slow down to make sure that we're not the next accident. We're trying to get to that scene, not become the next victim.
And it can be a lifesaver in the dead of night. The bright yellow of well-striped pavement, particularly in places like Nelson County, where the roads can be narrow and windy.
Well, this is not the only county, and how much of that $25 million is going toward the more highly traveled roads? How much of this is getting into the rural secondary network?
Nelson County Emergency Management Director Brad Metcalf is referencing the state budget for road improvement. It's why he's in full support of a new proposal to require more regular quality checks of state roads across Kentucky. State Representative Candy Massaroni of Bardstown is the bill's sponsor.
It seems to fade quicker than it should.
The idea is that any time the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet repaves a state highway, they'd be mandated to come back 6 months later to inspect them at night, to ensure the markings are still clearly visible even in the worst conditions. This affects first responders too. Metcalf remembers the torrential rain and floods back in the spring.
We still had to answer those calls, and we had people that were in need in the opposite end of the county, and it would increase our response times anywhere from 15 to 30%.
In a statement, the State Transportation Cabinet tells me it'll review the potential bill as it moves through the legislative process. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 on your side.
Kentucky's Transportation Cabinet also said it's working with bill sponsors to provide, quote, relevant and accurate information to inform their legislative proposals. Representative Massaroni plans to file the bill in next year's legislative session.
The Nelson County Sheriff is no longer facing felony charges in a case that cast a shadow on his department earlier this year. Prosecutors just dismissed the case against Sheriff Raymond Pineroa, who was originally charged with abuse of public trust, theft by deception, and official misconduct. The allegations centered around complaints from 2 detectives back in the spring who said Chief Deputy Brandon Bryan sold cars from the office's impound warehouse to a friend and that Pineroa didn't hold him responsible. Now, Chief Deputy Bryan did plead guilty on 2 misdemeanors unrelated to theft, admitting to administrative paperwork errors. He will pay fines as a result.
Attorney Steve Romines responded shortly after saying, quote, I've said from the beginning that Sheriff Pineroa did nothing wrong and we would prove that at trial, end quote. Deputy Bryan's attorney, Michael Nemitz, added, quote, to those that callously called Brandon a thief, this should serve as another reminder you should not cast stones before you know the facts, end quote. He added that Bryan plans to continue serving until his retirement. Well, it's been an emotional week in Bardstown as the case of Crystal Rogers had its final sentencing this week.
10 years have passed since Crystal Rogers went missing during the 4th of July weekend, leaving behind 5 children and a grieving family. Her remains have never been found.
But her family got some closure this week as top suspect, Crystal's ex-boyfriend, 43-year-old Brooks Houck, and Joseph Lawson were sentenced. Both men were sentenced on Wednesday, where Judge Charles Sims, standing by the jury's recommendation, gave both men the maximum. During victim impact statements, Crystal's family members called Houck a lowlife, comparing him to the devil, with Crystal's mother still asking the big question, where is her daughter?
Brooks Houck was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison and accomplice. Joseph Lawson received 25 years in prison for conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with evidence.
Members of Team Crystal searched late nights and early mornings alongside Rogers' parents, Sherry Ballard and the late Tommy Ballard. Angie Bowman was with them from the beginning. She reacted to the verdict.
When the verdict came down, mourning begins because now your hope's gone. An unending chapter, if that makes sense. You've read the book throughout the entire thing, and that last chapter they leave you hanging because he's going away for life, but you don't have her.
Our Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Jessica Farley will have the full story. Angie reflecting on the decade-long search on WHAS11 News at 6. And for the full timeline of the Crystal Rogers case, you can visit our website at WHAS11.com. Scroll down to the featured section where you can find our full coverage of the Crystal Rogers 10-year investigation. An update tonight, Kentucky Fairgrounds has fully reached maximum capacity. The main gates are closed to everyone unless you're on a shuttle. Just before 3 this afternoon, LMPD warned that the fairgrounds was reaching capacity, and now 3 hours later, it has. And to help with traffic, TARC and Park are teaming up again this weekend, offering transportation services to and from the festival, which right now, that's a premium. But for just $15, you can park downtown at the Park Garage and take bus number 2 at First and Liberty straight to Louder Than Life. Now from the festival, you'll take bus 2 again, located near Gate 4 at Crittenden Drive. That's across from the Arby's. That'll take you back downtown. Rides take about 25 minutes each way. Buses run through midnight. Sean Riley, Marketing Outreach Coordinator for TARC, tells us that during Bourbon and Beyond, 4,000 people use that service, and now they're expecting the service to be doubled.
You know, just based on how things are going, it could be double that for this weekend. And so just kind of think about how many cars that is and how much space that takes up at the fairgrounds. Last weekend, we estimate that we saved the fairgrounds about 7 acres of parking.
And we do have a link to bypasses on our website. Just look for it under the links mentioned during newscast story on the webpage.
And now that's what you've got to do because they've closed all the parking lots
good
at the
thing they're there.
fairgrounds. Right, absolutely. A big mess out there if you're trying to get out there and you're looking for other places to park around the fairgrounds and then walk in, Mallory.
Yeah, and make sure you stay hydrated too because temperatures, we've been in the upper 80s and lower 90s again today. High clouds are moving in, so that should help with the intensity of the sun before it does set. But tomorrow is going to be another warm day, a high of 91. 87 on Sunday, but you'll notice we're up to a 40% chance for a shower or storm, so you will want to keep a close eye on the radar and the forecast on Sunday in case we do continue to see those rain chances increase. But as we take that live look outside over downtown Louisville from our Hughes and Coleman Shriners Children's camera network here, you can see high clouds. They've filtered in from the west, so as I mentioned, that should help at least with that intensity of the sun that we've been seeing today. But in terms of temperatures, these are still in the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're at 89 in Louisville, 87 in LaGrange, 90 in Shepherdsville, 88 in Litchfield. So another day of those above average high temperatures. Satellite and radar. We do have a little bit of radar activity. This is south of Evansville off to our west and southwest, but we have so much dry air over us. We are looking to stay dry here in Kentucky. And any rain on the radar should fizzle before it gets to us, but it will bring us some high cloud cover as we carry on throughout this evening and into tonight. Expect temperatures in the 80s for Friday night football, eventually dropping into the 70s. And once again, just a light wind between about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows tonight will be dropping down into the 60s. As you saw, another hot day tomorrow before those rain chances return. It's looking pretty active next week. We'll take a full look at our 7-day forecast coming up shortly.
Thank you, Mallory. Besides parking a car, well, how would you reimagine a parking space? That's the question that members of the Louisville Metro Department of Transportation are asking the community during Louisville's Parking Day. The now global event first began in cities like San Francisco, but Louisville first joined the effort in 2010. It's designed to showcase how businesses and local organizations can creatively use a small space to better connect to the community.
Sometimes we need to explore whether or not the best possible use of land is for temporary parking or temporary non-human centered uses. So, it's a way to just kind of reclaim some of that space and join other people in community here in Louisville.
And the initiative has shown some success. The Parklet and Streetery programs, which helped some restaurants stay open during COVID, first began as ideas on Parking Day, and you can find the map of the changed spaces on LouisvilleKY.gov.
A big boost for early childhood education is coming to Louisville. It's coming from a well-known name, and perhaps the best part, this program does not cost parents a dime.
That's always good. Our Gabriel Gonzalez and photojournalist Aspen Hester explain what this means for hundreds of children in our community.
3 new preschools are opening their doors in Louisville this October, part of the Bezos Academy. This is one in the heart of the Russell neighborhood. Others are focused in the Fairdale and Okolona neighborhoods. The schools will serve 200 children ages 3 to 5 for free.
This is the beginning of the construction of a life of a child. You think about that. A child's trajectory being influenced right here in this beautiful school, in this environment.
The tuition-free, full-day, year-round model is aimed at helping families who need access to early education the most, and it's all part of a larger mission backed by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos.
How do we make our city safer? How do we make our city healthier and stronger, not just for the next couple of years, but for the next couple of generations? And the way to do that is through early childhood education.
Classrooms are equipped with everything pre-K students need to be successful and prepared before kindergarten. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman said, investing in our kids early is the best way for them to reach their full potential later.
We can invest in kids on the front end, or we are literally going to pay for it on the back end. Our choice is to build preschools or prisons. I don't know about you, but preschools look a lot better to me.
The work isn't stopping. A 4th preschool in Southwest Louisville is already in the works. It's set to open next year. In West Louisville, Gabriel Gonzalez, WHAS11, on your side.
The Bezos Academy model focuses on play-based learning, social emotional development, and equity. Applications for enrollment are already open on the Bezos Academy website.
Well, it's a new record for Louisville's biggest day of giving. After 24 hours of online donations, you help raise more than $10 million. Look at that total there, a record breaker. According to the Community Foundation of Louisville, which has hosted the event for over a decade in all, this money will benefit 646 organizations across Kentucky and southern Indiana since Give for Good's launch in 2014. You've helped raise over $80 million.
Coming up, with the temperature climbing on the political violence in the country, law enforcement is stepping up security at high-profile events.
But first, lawmakers in the nation's capital are trying to avoid a government shutdown. We'll take you there live next.